But miraculous is usually something that someone says when they had an outcome that they think they didn't deserve or wasn't lined up. It's like some outside force created something. Get used to life in the vortex. That's the way it is. Where all kinds of things rendezvous for the unfolding of things that you want. And so a miracle is a fine word as long as you understand what it means. So let's define miracle in the context of what you offered. A miracle is when universal forces converge to yield to you what you've put into the vortex. A miracle is your final alignment with what's in your vortex. A miracle is self-affected, self-imposed. A miracle is you finally rendezvousing enough, you becoming a cooperative component to what's in the vortex so that the vortex can spin you in. Do not come to the ridiculous assumption, and we're using that word very powerfully because we so want you to hear this. Do not come to the ridiculous assumption that because something has not unfolded for you, it's because you do not want it. Or because you do not really want it. Maybe what you really want is really good timing for it. Maybe what you really want is things to be aligned just right. Maybe what you really want is clarity about some other things first. But you have no confusion about whether you really want that or not. And so your question, we can feel it bubbling there. Your question is, am I doing something wrong? Am I either wanting the wrong thing? Do I not really want this? Or am I doing something wrong? And we say, out of the vortex, out of the vortex, out of the vortex thoughts. How about all things are in perfect timing and everything is working out for me and I'm rendezvousing at the perfect time and place with other co-creators with whom I'm interacting? What about, you can tell by the way you feel whether your thought is about what you really want. Have you heard us say that when you feel negative emotion, like would come if you would beat the drum of maybe this isn't something that I'm really supposed to want, or maybe this isn't something that I really want. When you offer that thought, you feel how uncomfortable that feels. And what that discomfort always means is that thought that you have activated by your attention to it is in utter disagreement with what your inner being knows. And what your inner being knows is what you want. Isn't that really clear? What your inner being knows and what your inner being is what you really want. So when you think about the absence of this and you feel negative emotion, what does that tell you? Your thought is in tremendous opposition or resistance to what you really want and to what your inner being knows and to what your inner being is, you see. So much second guessing goes on in your physical environment because you introduce into the equation so many opinions from so many others and so many experiences of so many others. And the reason that is not a good idea is because, first and most important, you have no way of knowing what's in their vortex because you don't get guidance about what's in their vortex. And next, not only do you not know what's in their vortex, but you don't know what their day by day, moment by moment, vibrational relationship is with their vortex. You don't know the thoughts they think. You don't really have any accurate information about any of the manifestations that are happening to the majority of people on the planet. In other words, you only know what is given to you, usually by outside speculation, by someone who's not even part of the mix, you see. So once you begin understanding that the way you feel and is an indicator of your alignment or not with what you really want, then all of those questions dissolve. All you have to do is think for a moment, well, maybe this isn't something I'm supposed to do, and feel the utter depression that sweeps over you to know that that's not a valid thought, that thought stinks. Usually something that someone says when they have thought or desire that they've identified that hasn't manifested instantly or maybe even easily. And then they start second guessing the validity of it. Maybe I don't really want it. Maybe I shouldn't really want it. Maybe there's something wrong with my worthiness, or maybe there's some reason that I'm just not going to get it. So maybe I shouldn't set myself up to really want it, because I'm setting myself up for a big disappointment. There are so many people who do not understand vibration, who do not understand law of attraction, who are surrounded by people who clearly want things that they don't have. And so they protect themselves, and they try to protect you by saying, oh, you should not allow yourself to get your heart set on something that you really have no control over. And we say, there is nothing that you cannot create. There is nothing that you cannot find the vibrational essence of and bring to full manifested fruition. There is a way to have everything that you want, you see. And as long as you allow we started to say, as long as you keep your dream alive. Those were not correct words, because the vortex is keeping your dream alive. The vortex in your inner being is tending to all of that. But you must keep the vibration alive enough or active enough within you to line up with it on a consistent enough basis in order for the universe to yield to you the avenue through which your creation will be. As you move through time, in other words, to practice the attitude of decline and deprivation, as you practice the natural idea of moving through time, is perhaps the biggest handicap that man puts on himself. To take something that is inevitable and condemn it and call it unwanted and point at it as something awkward and unwanted is pinching you off from life force, which is what decline is all about. It's a cycle. It's a cycle that does not have to be for anyone who does not play the game, you see. You don't have to decline as you move through time. I'm getting too old to have what I want, and everything's in perfect order. What thought feels better? It's pretty easy to tell which thought feels better. So why wouldn't you choose the better feeling thought? Why? That we really are asking. Why would you not choose the better feeling thought? Why would you not choose the thought, all things are unfolding in good time, over the I'm getting too old? Why would you not choose the better feeling thought? Because of the influence of others. You don't want to be foolish. You don't want to stand in foolishness, bucking the current. But we want you to know that anyone who's thriving is already bucking that current. Because the majority of people are not thriving anything close to what they could be thriving. They're pinching themselves off and then making fun of you when you don't do it too. So we just want you to keep it in perspective. Don't confront them. There are too many of them. So keep it to yourself, but keep tuning yourself. Keep tuning yourself, and what will happen is, as you keep tuning yourself, you'll find yourself more and more surrounded by those who know what you know. By examples of people thriving, by examples of people getting what they want, by examples of people beating the odds. Because the odds, as they line up in the human experience, people create the odds, and then they complain that the odds are stacked against them. And we say the reason the odds are stacked against you is because you created odds that stacked against you, and then in a sort of assurance, well, that's just the way life is. And we say, no, it isn't. It isn't. You get to create the life that you want to create. You see, there are no odds. There is just what's in your vortex and your alignment with it or your not alignment with it. That's it. And once you get that straight, then all kinds of things that other people don't think you should or can accomplish, you will accomplish, you see. And then they'll call you a freak. There are anomalies. There are those who are outside the norm. And we say, everyone who is in the vortex is on a consistent basis is outside the norm. In other words, that's what coming into the vortex is. That's what powerful desire is. That's what alignment with source is, you see. It's a really common thing for people to say to us. It's like a coming home. It's like remembering. People will say, I've always known this. You're just helping me to remember it. Whenever someone says to us, I aspire to be a healer, or I am a healer, we like to say, we really, really, really like the word teacher, healer, teacher, healer, teacher, healer, because everyone who is out of balance in terms of their physical body, and therefore in what they would say being in need of healing, every one of them, in the contrast that they are living, has set forth a new and improved vibrational version of themselves into their vortex. And so we want to say that that well-being, that being that is well, is known on some level to anyone who is sick. In other words, that vortex version of them exists. And Source is holding that vibrational wellness in readiness for them, but they have to find a way to achieve vibrational access to it. So there really is no healing. There is no healing taking place where someone who has established themselves as a healer is now asserting the healing into you, or into another. What they're doing is influencing you into the allowing of the well-being that's already been lined up for you in your vortex. Are you following? In other words, it's all about what a healer does. A healer is a teacher who assists you in preparing yourself vibrationally to allow the healing that is natural to you and waiting for you, that you, for whatever reason, have been denying yourself until this healer shined a spotlight on it and made it more accessible to you. So once you understand that, then you understand that you are already ready to go. It's just a matter of making sure that you're in the vortex and in vibrational alignment with wellness. Healing is about the power of influence, influencing you into your vortex where you allow the healing that was there for you. The healer does not bring the healing and does not bring the avenue through which the healing comes. The healer just influences you to the vibration where you allow the healing that was there for you. Make sense to you? To heal yourself is to stop doing the things that you're doing that are disallowing the wellness that is already queued up for you. In other words, healing and releasing resistance are identical terminology. Another miracle. In other words, you can feel the clarity with which you are focused. New subjects, it's easier for you. It's easier to line up with new miracles than old stale ones. The non-physical inner being part of you is focused upon who you have become, like always. But because of your soft, gentle, cooperative, pleasant, playful, cheerful, jubilant focus with us and others, it is our expectation that you will rendezvous once and for all with who you are to such a degree that you will achieve a conscious state of recognition about what being in the vortex really means. It will be a benchmark for you that you will never again wonder about. It will be an experience that will leave you enlivened in new ways, so that every moment following, with just a little bit of attention, you will know consciously where you stand in relationship to who you really are. And friends, there is nothing more important for you to know than that, because what you feel in every moment is the vibrational gap between who you really are and all that you've become and who you're letting yourself be right here and now because of whatever you're focused upon. So if you achieve, and we know you will, a heightened sensitivity to this vortex vibration that is you are going to become more solution-oriented, so much so that when you feel the red flag of a problem raise its head, your sensation of the solution looming will be so much more intense, maybe even predominant, that the problem will not perplex you, it will thrill you. The problem will be a reason to focus because you'll have knowledge that the solution is hovering, and all you have to do is relax and just allow it to descend and surround you. Surround you as a cooperative component of all that you desire. We are eager to move forward with you. There is no homework. Your assignment is to play fully. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain in the vortex.